You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 150. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnhart. Victorian fop from the 19th century is going to conquer the world.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, like Master of the World by Jules Verne.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And what is this? Okay, well, you'll see later.
Yes. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can find our show, plus many other cool podcasts like The All New Anti-Fanboy, Feed It Comics, and Ultimate Facepalm at rhymeswithgeek.com. And if you enjoy this show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. Comic Reflections is also available on backissueheroes.com, the home of classic comics on the web. So you should go there too. Okay, so the first comic we've got to talk about today is Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, number 148.
Now, is this the last Jimmy Olsen will be doing for a while?
Yes, and it is also the last issue of Kirby's run on the book.
Wow. I thought it was cool that when Kirby came to DC, he worked on Jimmy Olsen because nobody was doing Jimmy Olsen as their job. Everybody was... They just had people pinch hit all the time.
Yeah, and the book was floundering. And so he said, hey, this book's going to be canceled anyway. Let's... apply some Kirby magic to it, and he did something totally different, incorporated it into his Fourth World saga with the New Gods, Mr. Miracle, and the Forever People. And although the couple issues we've read haven't really dealt with that saga so much, I think Kirby did a cool thing, and the book didn't last much longer after Kirby left. Jimmy Olsen had kind of run its course, so it was.
Right.
An interesting thing to do, kind of a last hurrah.
Yeah. And it's nice that he didn't want to take someone else's job over. I really thought that was cool.
Yeah. So the lead story is called Monarch of All He Subdues, written and drawn by Jack Kirby, with inks by Vince Colletta and Murphy Anderson, and most notably, the Jimmy and Superman heads are redrawn by Murphy Anderson.
Which is absurd, but oh well.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
But yeah, the villain of this piece is Victor Volcanum, and he's a villain straight out of the 18th century. He's like a steampunk supervillain. Yeah.
What a name! Is his sister Mary Maelstrom? It's just absurd. But yeah. Okay. So Victor Volcanum is this balloonist, I guess, in the early 19th century.
Right.
Finds himself in a volcano and finds the elixir of life or something like that.
Yeah.
And he wants to conquer the world. Even though he still seems kind of a weak person to be fighting Superman.
Right.
He has no superpowers. He has a super gondola that flies around and blasts things, and he can destroy cities, but that's nothing to Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. I feel like he is the kind of English aristocrat of the kind of... He's almost somebody that you'd think would know Harry Flashman.
Right. And like him, but not,
yeah.
But I don't know.
You may want to fill in our listeners on who.
Harry Flashman is this character from Tom Brown's school days. A real book about this boys going to rugby school in the 1840s England. In the book, there's this villain called Harry Flashman, who is a bully. He is a drunkard, and he's a coward. Go back into the 1969. He's made into a series of books where the author, whose name escapes me right
George
now.
MacDonald Fraser.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
He puts Harry Flashman in every Victorian disaster. He's at the charge of the Light Brigade. He's at Harper's Ferry with John Brown.
Yeah.
He's at the First War of the First Afghan War.
Right.
And the Second Opium War. And
Yeah.
And he's that little bighorn, and he's a coward. So he runs away and he lives. So he's the only survivor. So he's considered a hero.
Right. It's interesting. The Flashman, although he is an excellent combatant, he does flee, but he succeeds despite his cowardice, and he rises in social standing through a web of lies and deceit, and he's just an interesting character.
Yeah. He will not fight unless he absolutely has to.
But then, boy.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
It's just a great character because everyone else there is trying to be noble and live up to the Victorian ideal.
And he says, "That's all crap. I'm out for number one."
He's like, is it Game of Thrones? Oh, the imp.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Tyrion?
Tyrion.
I think
He's
that's
a
right.
20th century person in the wrong era, and it just he looks at the world like 20th century people do, but no, there's no
He doesn't over romanticize like crap that doesn't advance his life.
Right.
And
no
so
honor, nothing, and everyone else is believing in honor and all this, and they can't believe that somebody would lie.
Yeah, but they're getting killed for honor and ideals, and he's living. So what does that suit you?
Yeah, indeed.
But I feel like, anyway, the reason I mention it is this: I feel like Victor Volcanum is a little bit Harry Flashman and a bit the character, but mostly the character from Jules Verne's Master of the World. But he put them together, and I think that's what you get with Victor Volcanum.
Yeah. But what I want to know is why is Jimmy and a newsboy leading wearing dresses? I guess we don't know. I guess they're slave smocks or something.
Something like that, yeah.
But it's funny. Like not a battle thing. Superman saves the day. We see Victor Volcanum in his
regal costume. It's really
it looks like a grenadier.
Yeah, but you know he's got all the tassels and it's very fancy looking. It's very like World War I. Or is Hussars the right word?
Yeah, I think a little bit different from the Hussars. It might be, actually. That's, I don't know. I don't know my uniforms like I should.
Yeah.
But he is a fop, the toe-too. So he's made this volcano empire, and he's made these robots which look pretty cool. But of course, they're drawn by Kirby.
Yeah. Kirby bots, yeah.
And Superman does he kills about 8 of them or 7 of them with one rock. It's pretty cool.
He throws it right through all their heads. I love that.
Yeah, they did the same thing in Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. He shoots 4 Germans with 1 bullet. So.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so they fight and fight. So
Jimmy gets into a fight too. Jimmy fights a robot.
Yeah, he does okay.
As he finds the off switch.
Yeah, man, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
so Victor thinks he's going to just take over the world, so he destroys a volcano, lifts up his gondola. It looks like a gondola, but there's no balloon above it. But that's what it looks like, and he's going to go destroy Metropolis, of course. So Superman says no, so he destroys him. That's about it. Some really pretty drawings. It's wonderful.
The story, but there's some great action by Kirby, who's the master of action. So, but it's cool. You know, Superman saves the day, and as he always does. There's a cool advertisement for the Kirby portfolio. Yeah. Which is just awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, there is super-sized pages.
Yeah. It's probably treasury sized.
Is that really big, or is that?
That's a real big size.
Oh, okay.
You know, so we have a backup story. It's from Tales of the DNA Project, and this one's called Genetic Criminal. And what was this story about? I forget.
No, there's a reason you forgot.
But it's written and drawn by Kirby with inks by Mike Royer. I should know.
Okay, and so a DNA project, and there's a soldier fighting against a clone, and they're fighting, and then the clone wins and finds out that the soldier's actually a spy.
Mm-hmm.
And the clone is from a Floyd Bullets Barstow, a gangster executed for murder. Why would you want to clone that? So,
I don't know. Maybe because they think a ruthless person would make a good soldier?
uh, yeah,
It's just a
maybe.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the real treat in this issue, I think, is it's Harold is a Kirby classic, and I would agree. It's a Golden Age Newsboy Legion story, and what is it? It's called The Meanest Man on Earth. It's a reprint from Star Spangled Comics number 14 from way back in 1942, and it's written by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, and well, penciled by Kirby, inked by Joe Simon.
That's strange to call this guy the meanest man on earth while Hitler was still living.
Well,
okay. Okay, so the Newsboy Legion just moved into new digs, and some people like the hey, I can shower now, and some of them don't like it's too fancy.
mm-hmm.
They can't figure out the stove.
I think it's Gabby and the one with the hat. I forget right now.
Yeah, Scrapper.
Scrapper. Gabby and Scrapper are kind of like, not so much. But then Tommy and Big Words are a little more uptown, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So we see Wilbur Willing, who goes to suicide slums.
Uh-huh.
And he says, I want to fix this. So he talks to the Newsboy Legion to raise money to, we call it gentrify now,
Mm-hmm.
but it's to get rid of the slums and build something nice.
Yeah. It's so funny because I remember there's a great story of, if you ever read Will Eisner's Contract with God trilogy, there's a great story of gentrification and shows how it works. And it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can see both sides of it, but I'd rather live in a gentrified area than before it's gentrified.
Well, right. Help me out. What's the name of Ayn Rand's kind of hero from, not Atlas Shrugged, but the other one?
Oh, for crying out loud. From Fountainhead.
From the Fountainhead, that guy.
Yeah.
I feel like that book was like the zeitgeist at the time, and that some of that may inform this. But I'm blanking on what that character's name is. It's not John Galt, it's the other guy.
Yeah, it's not Howard Rourke. It's
Rourke. It is Howard Rourke.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but Howard just wanted to make buildings like the entire thing about the Fountainhead. He wanted to make buildings where he wanted to.
Right.
And it didn't matter if it helped anybody except for the person buying it. But
Right.
it's sort of, I don't think he would do anything like this gentrification thing.
Right.
Where they paid him to make it nice and make it. I think he did do something, and people were happy living there.
Yeah.
But
I mention it because I feel like contextually that novel is really big and happening at the time this comic book story was published.
Maybe so.
So yeah.
Yeah. He does have a granite jaw, and I think Howard Rourke had a granite jaw. So
Right.
This guy's kind of hearty milquetoast or something. All right, so Wilbur, is this anything?
Wilbur Willing.
He asked the Newsboy Legion to make money and raise money to I don't know, to fix suicide.
Right, and they're going to get people to donate all the labor, and so. But this guy, it's all a ruse because he keeps
the money and sends the Newsboy Legion the bill.
Right.
$147,086.32.
Right.
Wow, but they really built a nice place, and everybody's happy what they built.
Right.
Shows you how far $100,000 can go back then. Wow.
Right.
So the Newsboy Legion, they're out for blood, and they try to find the
Guardian.
Yeah. Oh no, they try to find the bad guy.
Oh, that's right. The Guardian just kind of shows up.
You know that they suspect the cop. What's his name?
Jim Harper.
Jim Harper is the Guardian.
Yeah.
And
it's not the best kept secret in the world.
No.
But I think Jim Harper, he's a great cop, good guy, and the Guardian's a cool superhero.
Yeah. So Yeah. So okay. So that they put the Newsboy Legion in the refrigerator. They're going to
The
freeze
bad
them.
guys do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad guys do. In big words, punches some words out, and there's a glass sign, and he
Mhm.
punches out some of the letters, and it. Let's see.
It's a message that Harper or the Guardian will see
Mm-hmm.
and come to the rescue. And he does. And he beats up the bad guys. And it's
Yeah.
awesome. We have several pages of him just fighting, crashing in on these villains and beating them up. And it's super satisfying.
Yeah.
Kirby was always just bursting with energy. And it
Mhm.
just always shows on the page.
Yeah. It's very. Yeah. It's very dynamic for a Golden Age. This is a Golden Age comic.
Yeah.
And big words makes up the word succor, sucker.
That's a real word.
It is. I mean, it makes it out of glass,
Right.
and Guardian sees it, which means help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they the Newsboy Legion bakes the Guardian a cake, and Harper comes in and says, "Oh, thanks for the cake," and this is, "Aha, you're the Guardian." Says, "Oh, I thought I'm your legal guardian,"
Which he is.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, it's a fun story. And justice was served or whatever. So,
Yeah. November 1942.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So while we're on a Golden Age kick, let's move on to our next issue. It's a Super Team Family number 4, and the lead story is The Revenge of Solomon Grundy, and it's a reprint from All Star Comics number 33 from way back in 1947. This is great because Solomon Grundy had been Green Lantern's foe, but I think this is the first time he fights the Justice Society. If I'm wrong, correct me, listeners. But anyway, Gardner Fox wrote this, and penciling and inking throughout, we have Erwin Hasen, Martin Nadell, John Chester Kozlek, and Paul Reinman. They kind of split the story up into chapters, and so.
Yeah.
But this is some really good Golden Age stuff.
You can tell it's written by different people.
No, the whole thing was
Are
written.
you sure?
Yes, Gardner Fox wrote the whole thing.
Because
But
I
the
noticed
different
that-
chapters, the art changes.
Well, Solomon Grundy gets more verbose, and he talks better in some. So they forgot to make him monosyllabic.
Well, remember, this is when the character is still pretty young,
Mhm.
and Gardner Fox may have just hacked the story out,
Mm-hmm.
So there may be some inconsistencies because of that. But yes, I did notice this was a more well-spoken Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
Not by a lot, but noticeable.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, we come to
Slaughter
origin
Swamp.
story. Yeah. Origin story. Then we see Green Lantern captures him, puts him in a green bubble. Green bubble is destroyed by lightning. Solomon Grundy's angry, so he's gonna get vengeance.
Yeah.
We come to Green Lantern's house, and he opens the door and says, "You," and
But we don't know who it is.
yeah.
Is it Green Lantern's house, or it's the Justice Society's headquarters? Because then the other Justice Society
You're
members.
right.
Okay.
Okay. So then and then there's a bunch of stuff happened there. The glass is broken, and Green Lantern's just disappeared.
So the other Justice Society members show up, and they're like, well, what's going on?
We have Hawkman, we have
Johnny Thunder, the Flash, Dr. Midnight, the Atom, and Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. They find a big footprint, which it can only be Solomon Grundy.
Right. So they decide they're going to find out what happened to Green Lantern. They're going to split up into teams and try and track down Grundy. Or split up individually.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Wonder Woman stays behind.
Isn't she the strongest person in the whole group?
Yes.
I was really, I want to see what Wonder Woman does. I was kind of ticked off, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, unfortunately that's how it was. She was in the Justice Society, but basically just as the secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Which is lame because she's part of the trinity of DC heroes.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a really big deal. But she's taking the back seat to these guys.
She literally does nothing.
Yeah, she's
think
there.
She takes a phone call. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the first part, or excuse me, the first chapter, we see Hawkman catch up with Grundy.
Mm-hmm. So we see these.
Joe Kubert did this section, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he didn't. Never mind. Oh yes, he did.
Okay.
I think I missed him when I was writing down my notes. But anyway.
Okay. A father and son both own newspapers. This could only be in the 40s, huh?
Okay.
And they're fighting each other, and the father's paper is getting slammed by the younger guys, and it's about to lose. So they get in a big argument. Here comes Solomon Grundy, and they fight Solomon Grundy, and then here comes Hawkman, and they fight and fight and fight, and
it's true,
yeah.
but it's really fun. It's satisfying. Grundy gets away. He eludes Hawkman.
Yeah.
And the father and son make up.
Right. It's pretty cool. Nice shadows. It's very dark, and it's pretty done well.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. It's
Dr. Midnight.
Yeah. Right. We come upon a scene of a maid sending a little boy out.
Uh-huh.
And then she calls in a criminal.
Uh-huh.
Who is going to break into the safe.
Okay.
And then we see Solomon Grundy looking at some kids, which is kind of take off on the original Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And
this...
Bride of Frankenstein is fantastic too. And
yes.
The rest of them are well worth watching.
Yes, they are. It's a fun series. I love those movies.
So... The kids get Solomon Grundy to play marbles, and he takes the marbles and crushes them to sand.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. Alright, so... It's Captain Midnight, right?
Dr. Midnight.
Dr. Midnight, okay.
There is a Captain Midnight, but that's not...
There is, okay.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Midnight comes in, finds the thieves, beats them up, and here comes Solomon Grundy, rawr, and... and there's another big fight.
Yeah.
Solomon Grundy gets the best of each of these fights. He's beating... He's kicking butt.
Yeah. So the next chapter... so Dr. Midnight caught the thieves, right? They were foiled. Okay, good. So the next chapter, we have Johnny Thunder and his magic thunderbolt against Grundy.
Well, this is... Now, talk about Harry Flashman character. He's a coward.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, kind of. He deliberately goes to the city where Solomon Grundy's not at.
Right.
Yeah, he is cowardly.
Okay.
I was kind of shocked, to tell you the truth.
I like Johnny Thunder, though.
Oh, I don't care. It's a great character. Like, I wouldn't want my daughter to date Harry Flashman. That doesn't mean I don't want to read about it.
Right.
So, and I wouldn't lend Harry any money or anything like that. But Johnny Thunder is a coward, and he deliberately goes away from Solomon Grundy. There are these two girls who say, "Hey, Solomon Grundy went to Meridian," and then Johnny says, "Oh, I'll go to Zenith," and the girls follow him.
Right.
All right, so
now,
Johnny,
but they're in cahoots with some criminals.
Well, we find that later.
Right.
So. But they're easy on the eye.
Yeah. They kind of got a Betty and Veronica thing going.
Yeah, a little bit of rivalry, but not like that. So.
Right.
I'm going to Sweetie's Cereal Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... Okay, so we found out... Okay, so actually Johnny Thunder punches Solomon Grundy in the jaw and does a pretty good job of it. And then he says, "Say you," and here comes Thunderbolt.
Yeah, that's the magic words that bring the
Say
Thunderbolt.
You.
Yeah.
Man, that's sort of... That's not very... That's kind of common, though. You know?
Here's the thing. It's not like anybody else can call it. It's just him.
Oh, yeah, but... Hey, say you, get off my thing, you know, I mean, it's not
exactly. It's because the whole point is that oftentimes he accidentally calls the Thunderbolt.
Oh, I see.
It's meant for comedic purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Oh, but now we found out why Johnny Thunder was kicking butt. It wasn't Solomon Grundy. It was...
somebody wearing stilts, like pretending, because they knew Grundy was on the loose on a rampage, so they were capitalizing on that. They were going to use a kind of a Scooby-Doo ending, kind of to scare people away so they could commit a crime.
Yeah.
So.
Which is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
And I like clever ideas, and we think that people would be doing that more often.
Right?
Okay.
So the next chapter was Grundy against the Flash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So we have this chief of police who's going to get canned because he's old. So
He should have been out of the game years ago.
right. So Solomon Grundy comes to town, and he defends the town against Solomon Grundy.
The Flash does.
Oh no, the police chief. But then here comes a Flash.
Oh, that's right.
And there's a big fight.
Yep.
And another fight. And a fight. And then Solomon Grundy gets away.
But the town decides to, because the police chief was so brave, that they were going to give him his job for as long as he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the next part, the Atom catches up with Grundy.
Yeah, so Solomon Grundy actually gets up with villains.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why. Well, they're going to tell him how to get in touch with the Green Lantern.
Right. And because he hates the Lantern so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what does the Atom do?
He's just a little guy. And he fights.
Oh, okay.
Later he got some super strength, atomic kind of powers. But that was pretty late in the run. At this time he's just a short guy who fights crime.
The gallant little gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
But
He has a good fight with Grundy,
Yeah.
although Grundy kicks his butt.
he does it with everybody. All right, so we go back. Where we started.
Where Lantern opened the door, it wasn't Grundy, it was Doiby Dickles, his sidekick, the cabbie.
Yeah. Okay. He's talking about Solomon Grundy.
Mm-hmm.
So here's Green Lantern goes to the window in the clubhouse. It's not his window; it's the organization he's a member of, and he just goes to the window.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Right. And then because he's a radio broadcaster, he broadcasted bulletins to send that the Justice Society would find to go and hunt down Grundy. While he does what?
He's doing some kind of radio thing to capture him or something. I didn't kind of snooze through this.
Oh, okay.
He did mathematical calculation to discover where Grundy will be at a given time.
Okay.
Yeah, so they fight. Solomon Grundy is smart enough to use wood against
Green Lantern. That's right. He tries to hit him with a tree. Of course, Alan Scott, the Golden Age Green Lantern, his ring can affect anything, or cannot affect anything that is wood. So.
Yeah, I think, man, that's a huge thing.
That is a huge weakness. He can do anything, but you can't affect wood.
Man, I bet he's afraid of those woody stations.
Oh, with the wood paneling?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So, Solomon Grundy chokes him, throws him in the water and chokes him, and he about kills him. Now, we think he's actually Green Lantern's dead.
Right, and then the rest of the Justice Society shows up, and they gang up on Solomon Grundy. And this is great.
Yeah, huge fight. They finally get him down, and then decide, what are we going to do with him? Hey, let's take him to the moon.
Yeah. And so Green Lantern turns out okay. He puts him in another green bubble and sends him to the moon. Remember when Superman trapped him on the moon later?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So trapping him on the moon seems to work pretty good.
For a while. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of the moon, let's talk about our backup feature.
That's the Menace of the Moon Man.
That's right. It's Superman and Batman and Robin, your two favorite superheroes, together in one adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yes, The Menace of the Moon Man is a reprint from World's Finest, number 98, from 1958. And it was written by Bill Finger, penciled by Dick Sprang, and inked by Stan Kay. And I laughed a lot when I read this story.
Did you?
I enjoyed it. It was really fun.
Oh, I don't... I like that, okay. Although, World's Finest should be twice as good as a Superman or a Batman. With both of them together.
Right.
They never live up to my expectations. They're worth reading. But...
Yeah. I think the World's Finest, I'm like, oh, these are the Batman stories I want to read. Or Batman in the Brave and the Bold. I just like Batman in these team-ups,
Yeah.
He's not... I kind of get bored reading Batman solo stuff.
Yeah, unless has a good villain.
Yeah. And I've read some ones where he's had some real lame ones. So, anyway. So what's happened with the Moon Man?
Alright, so an astronaut goes up in outer space, and he comes back. And
and he was affected by like an radiation.
A green comet.
Yeah, and it gives him moon powers.
Yeah, we find out this later, but he becomes a maniacal moon man. And he flies Apollo's chariot. Is that Apollo's chariot?
Somebody's. He
Yeah.
steals his chariot.
Mm-hmm.
So the moon powers affect his mind. He's a good guy, but the moon powers make him evil when it's dark, when it's nighttime. And so he has all these gravitational and moon powers, and he can like weaken Superman because there was some kryptonite dust in that green meteorite.
Yeah. He makes a tidal wave.
Like he's really got some serious powers.
Yeah, he does.
You know, but it's cool because there's a mystery because Batman and Superman don't know who the Moon Man is yet right away, and there's a mystery and superpowers. See, that's why you get to use them both really well.
Yeah, and that's when I realized, oh, I'm the Moon Man, and then I think he's captured by bad guys while he's astronaut. Then when he wakes up, he's a bad guy with a bunch of other bad guys.
And they try to use him to like commit crimes because he's got the moon powers.
And just steal a moon because he does moon crimes. There has to be a moon in there.
Right. There was like a replica moon.
Yeah.
That he uses, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's so goofy because he's got the green and yellow costume with a yellow cape, and he's got these big goofy glasses and a big moon on his chest.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. And so, but so he loses his powers.
Mm-hmm.
But he pretends like he's... So I guess he has the uniform somewhere, the outfit.
Yeah.
So they have this cool-looking balloon that looks like a
space station.
Space station. And Superman uses it to capture crooks. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. All right, so now we go to something not so great.
Yeah, we have the Flintstones, number 38, from Charlton.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead story is called Meat on the Table. It's written by Joe Gill with art by Ray Durgo. And oddly enough, Ray Durgo has like this fan following.
Not because of this.
Yeah, kind of. Like they really like his kind of cartoony, funny animal stuff that he did at Charlton.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought this is okay. I think that the Coyote and Roadrunner thing was the worst thing we've ever read.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of that as just a pure soullessness.
Yeah.
And so this isn't that bad. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting that people. I don't know. I would like to see I like to read what they're saying about it and point to what they think is good.
Right.
Because I was underwhelmed by this. I wasn't expecting much, and I didn't get much. So.
Well, hey, there you go. It's hard to be disappointed in that regard.
Indeed. Okay. The Flintstones, meat on the table. In the early 70s, we had meat prices went through the roof. Mainly because of the cost of fuel and all that stuff. So we're having that now, meat prices going up.
Yeah.
Fred is really ticked off. He can't eat meat, so he's thinking about cooking Dino. And, God, he's got a knife and he's slobbering.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, remember how little he was when we got him? Oh.
I guess I won't kill our family dog and eat him.
Yeah.
What is this, Korea?
Indeed.
So Fred gets the bright idea. I'm going to raise a pig, and then we'll eat that. Which, don't you think raising a pig for slaughter would be more expensive than just buying meat at the store?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
Because, the economy is scale. It's a lot cheaper to make a buttload of stuff per item than it is to make one. I mean, if you're feeding the pig slop and from the table, might be, but still. Yeah, well, meat comes from something, and for him to be surprised that it comes from a lovable pig, but that's the story we get. Oh, he falls in love with the pig, or he likes them, so now he can't eat them. So I don't know what he does with it at the very end.
He's just part of the family. He's sitting at the dinner table with them.
And splitting up some meat from some other animal. So
Yeah.
oh well, okay.
So we have another story in this, or there's a few, but and this one's called "Friends to the End." Joe Gill wrote it, and Ray Durgo did the art. So Fred and Barney decide to buy a boat.
Yeah, and a duck is the outboard motor. Okay. I said, what's a duck doing there? And so I finally figured it out.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
Yeah, I think there's the entire shtick of the Flintstones. We got a food incinerator, and it's a dinosaur, you know, or a bird playing the phonograph and stuff like that. So that's about the only humor it was in there.
Yeah.
Although it was fun to see Fred get angry. Always like that.
Yeah.
So Fred and Barney, they decided to split the cost of the boat, and then they start fighting because one wants to be the captain. So they decide we'll split up being captain. And Barney seems a little bit more smarter than Fred.
Isn't he always?
Yeah. So they fight, and they I don't know, and the boat sinks, and they catch a fish that wins an award, and I don't know. Then they just split it up, and it's great to split up stuff between friends. I guess that's the moral of the story.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Dino, helpful Dino.
Yeah, there's a Dino one-pager, and who cares? But
indeed.
So the last story is "Fly Me to the Moon," written again by Joe Gill and drawn by Ray Durgo.
Yeah, Pebbles finds a Aladdin's lamp, and they go off and
go to the future and stuff.
Yeah, and find an astronaut. And Dino's worried that Fred will get the lamp, so he destroys it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. Magic and the Great Gazoo was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, it could. Why not? Just use the Great Gazoo. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not a bad time. I'm sad to see Jimmy Olsen leave, but oh well. So, but we'll see you in the funny pictures next time.